Greetings, my name is Pat Frost. I'm the Vice Chair for the National Pediatric Disaster Coalition and Education Lead for the Eastern Great Lakes Pediatric Consortium for Disaster Response. It's my privilege today to present this poster on pediatric readiness is essential for pediatric disaster readiness. A little bit about my background includes being a former EMS director for Contra Costa County Emergency Medical Services and being affiliated with the American Academy of Pediatrics Council for Disaster in Children and the Pediatric Response and Emergency Management course for FEMA Management 439. My objective today is to increase your awareness about the vital role that you play as a state coordinator in really creating pediatric ready systems of care that are protective in disaster. Nationally, there's over 72 million children now in the US and 22% of the US population. 32% of the child population is less than 6 years of age. 1 in 5 is disabled. Almost 17% live in poverty, and over 22% in the country are on public assistance. And that's under normal conditions. Pediatric readiness has educational gaps that are very similar to pediatric disaster readiness. We have the same issues in normal and disaster conditions. There are not sufficient systems, processes, collaborations in place to operationalize capability. And as a state coordinator, you are uniquely positioned to facilitate solutions in this area. That's why EMSC National Pediatric Readiness Project and Assessments creates that essential infrastructure to support disaster preparedness, response, and recovery. And that's why the Eastern Great Lakes Education Group created a common operating picture when we approached pediatric disaster education. And this is called the concept of operations, which is a term in emergency management that basically brings people together of different disciplines to create a common operating picture. So we're all on the same page in an emergency. And pediatric readiness is essential to that. Pediatric readiness helps create disaster-ready children. And those communities are positioned to be more resilient. The children play a vital role. They're positive influencers for their families as well as their community. They can become disaster leaders, and they learn confidence when they learn to call 911, learn CPR, and stop the bleed. Children save other children's lives and adults' lives all the time, but they have to have the skills to do that. Children who are disaster ready are known to experience less anxiety and fewer long-term mental health impacts. And so we invite you to connect to these key resources to incorporate them in your documents, guidance, websites, newsletters, and let your emergency management and those who are dealing with disaster operations know about these resources and use the resources. So connect and collaborate, have them on your websites, talk about them in your social media, and join listservs so that you can be up to date with all the latest that is coming down the pike. All of this information is readily available, but we require your cooperation, collaboration in order to connect them to people who really need it in the day-to-day and disaster conditions. So with that, I'd like to thank you. Please reach out to us, join our listserv, and at least connect to us and our social media. Thanks again.